man said to me, John Farnsworth, he said, "I think differently when I'm at this camp. I think differently." And you have just a whole different outlook, different phronima, as we'd say in Greek, a different way of looking at the world because of this 1 week. And this concept of the Orthodox village, I mean, other people said the same thing. I wasn't the only one. We all felt like that. This was one little village. We're all together and bonding with one another. It was really blissful. There was always tears at every party. It started with an idea that Presbytera Katina and I had to start a camp for the young people. And this was the summer of 1996 that we came up with this idea and started looking around for a place to have the camp. And we found a camp in Petersburg, Pennsylvania called Camp Blue Diamond. And it was available the last part of August. And so I went up by myself that fall for the consecration of Metropolitan Moses as bishop. And I asked the blessing of then Bishop Ephraim to try to start the camp. And he gave his blessing, and he assigned the newly consecrated Bishop Metropolitan Moses to work with me. Because I had never started a camp before, and we needed spiritual leadership and the blessing of our hierarchy for any good thing to happen, because no good thing can happen without the blessing of Christ. We were there in 97, 98, and 99. Then the hierarchs elected that it should be moved to Maine. That's where it's been since that time.
Yes, oh. Like usual. Yes.
I had heard about it in the past from a lot of people. I heard good things, and unfortunately I had never had a chance or an opportunity to do it before. And a lot of people from the Chicago parish and from the Detroit parish were also going to go this year, and they recommended that I do the same. And I figured, well, I'm not going to be in Greece this year like I usually am, so I had the availability and decided to do it for the experience and also to help the youth and to bond with my fellow Orthodox group leaders.
First, our director of the camp, Vlad, will be speaking to us.
Yeah.
First of all, I'm not running training. I'm here to give a few words. We have great staff here that are running the training. So let's go. I'll applaud for the hard work. When they come home, mom and dad ask their children how camp. All want to know how camp was through the eyes of the children. And to hear how life is in the cabin, how the you may have heard this before, but this is Metropolitan Demetrius said this is the most important missionary field in our church. It's in here.
One of my biggest fears was probably that since it was my first time, I wouldn't know what to do or what to expect. But I also had a little bit of confidence because I'm with a co-counselor who has done this before. Also, fears like maybe somebody getting injured or hurt. We definitely don't want that to happen. Other than that, I really didn't have many fears. I put my faith in God that everything will go well, and I think it will go well.
Behold, now what is so good or so joyous as for brethren to dwell together in unity, for in this the Lord hath promised life everlasting.
It's a great feeling. You know, I love the feeling of Orthodox Christians getting together, spending time, bonding, and you know, it strengthens the faith. It strengthens the unity between the Orthodox Christians. We might live, everybody lives far away from each other, but we're still like a big family.
We had over 50 campers the first year. Every day we'd set up the schedule for the following day. That's how we were doing it, just one day deciding what to do the next day. We wanted people to learn about the life of Saint Xenia. We wanted them to learn some church hymns, and we wanted them to have active discussions with the clergy, and a lot of sports and fun activities, and we had morning prayers. And one of the first things we did, followed by some calisthenics and then breakfast.
I'm actually one of the leads at the camp that we have in Toronto. Some of you have been there. Anyway, so we're going to start off with calisthenics. They gave me an idea of what you guys usually do.
Well, by that time we had 5 children of our own, and we were very isolated. We were the only Orthodox Christians in our town of Huntington, Pennsylvania. We lived 2 hours from the church. And I just recognized, my kids are not making friends of other Orthodox, and we felt that was so important for the formation of their Orthodox Christian identity. And we thought, our kids need this. So we wanted that experience, at least for a week, of living in an Orthodox village. You walk down the street and you see the priest, you see the bishop, you see the church bells are ringing.
So the question was why Saint Xenia's camp is important to our children, and the answer to that is so complex. As you can see behind you, and this is just a small sampling of the children that are here, but life here for a week is like living in an Orthodox village. Many of these children are from churches that are in secluded areas, so they don't have great opportunity to meet other Orthodox youth. So the spiritual nourishment, the spiritual rewards of this week are incalculable.
With the blessing of Metropolitan Demetrius, he calls this the most important mission that we do all year long. So thank you to all the staff, all the workers, everyone who makes this work, and all you guys, all you kids. Go kids! The theme every year is chosen by Metropolitan Demetrius, Living for God. Yeah! So what does that mean? So that means a couple of different things. And we have our camp chaplain, Father Nicholas, who's going to come up and explain it.
Here is a chance for kids who maybe don't have all that many other kids in their parishes that relate to. Come together from Toronto, from the West Coast, East Coast, whatnot, and be just kids together. So it's and learn about Orthodoxy most of all. Grow together spiritually.
Glad?
Yeah. There's, of course, Vladimir. Vlad Mikhailov is just incredibly a leader, and he always goes out of his way to go to the clergy synaxes every year and talk about the camp. It's on the agenda of the clergy gathering we have every June. He comes and he personally talks about the camp. So you just see how important it is at the hierarchical level that they want him to come and talk about Saint Xenia Camp.
not a small gift. We have an icon of Saint Xenia. And the reason why this icon of Saint Xenia is very important is blessed on her grave. And we have some oil from a lamp that was illuminated on the graveside. This is a very special gift. I don't look at this as a small gift, I look at this as a very big gift, because this is part of Saint Xenia. We love you.
Katrin has been an incredible force with the camp. Behind the scenes, she's done immeasurable work throughout the year. She's going to be greatly missed, that's for sure. All these kids that have come to the camp have a great debt to owe to Katrin for her talents and for the work that she's done to pull this together.
She's retiring from the position because she's moving down south, and she's not going to be part of our administration anymore.
I've got to tell you, this is really important, because not only are you all a group of really great kids, you are our future. And I know you hear this a lot, the future of our country, you're the future of our church. 20 years from now, you all are going to be raising the next generation of the church. And hopefully more members for Saint Xenia's. So I love you all, and I'm really going to miss everybody.
If you just take, I'll rig a bamboo, Now what is that? It's something made, by the princess hat, It's red and gold, Purple too, rock like coal, I'll rig a bamboo,
As a counselor, I'm basically in charge of my cabin. I have a co-counselor, and the two of us are in charge of 8 kids this year. We have to get them to bed, we have to make sure that they shower, brush their teeth and everything. We have to get them to all the activities.
We need to show the kids of our church that their faith is very important in their everyday lives. God always has a plan, and we need to really instill that in our children.
It's really nice to see them really engaging in prayer and learning about their faith.
So it's very important for all the counselors here to mentor them and to teach them about the faith and to answer any questions they have. And of course to have fun too, and to have a good camp time, you know.
So as you can see, I'm actually working as the nurse this year. I'm wearing the pink. My role here is just to kind of watch, make sure if anything happens. We have regulations. I'm actually licensed up here, so I have a counter license, so I'm actually working as a registered nurse. There's, of course, we have an infirmary, so if anyone needs to stay there, they can.
Saint Xenia Camp, question! Are you hungry? Yeah! Maybe. Nice and slow.
Crying out from the depths of our hearts, put not our hope to shame, O blessed Xenia.
And there's so many volunteers, so many wonderful cooks. Early on, Matushka Anna Oskowski, Seraphim Oskowski, my wife, she was a master of pancakes without eggs or butter. To this day, I can never get a fasting pancake like hers.
I make a lot of arts and crafts, like candles, candle holders, and a lot of things, and I've had a lot of fun.
I like doing arts and crafts because I like to see everybody do it, because my mom's the arts and crafts director, so I like to see what everybody's stuff looks like.
the mountain of Christ our God, showing to thy disciples thy glory, as each one could endure. Shine forth thou on us who are sinners, all thy life ever unending. Through the prayers of the Theotokos, light bestow and glory to thee.
His presence here is a great calming factor. It's a great blessing for us, for the clergy, and also for the staff and for the children, because he spends time connecting with the children and speaking with the children. He'll also spend time during the week to speak specifically to the staff. And certainly for the clergy, he makes himself readily available for us as our chief pastor to answer any of our questions, address our needs. But it's also great for the children to see their hierarch in a more casual setting, and perhaps that allows them to feel more ease around him and to make greater connections with him.
Have skit night. That was another thing we have in the very beginning. And the hilarious skits, but also some were very touching and reverent. But the kids had a lot of fun with the skits.
So, for those of you who are new to camp, Katina Patitsas passed away a year ago. She and her husband, Father Chris, were really the initial beginners of the Saint Xenia Camp. And she died of cancer. She's a beautiful soul, and we miss her greatly.
She was writing music from the year for years, but it really blossomed in 1991. We had a near-death experience in a car accident. The car flipped over, and she says, if I don't start writing this music now, I'm never going to write it. She felt a desire to do it, but she had kind of stopped when the kids started coming. She just poured herself into her music for a very intense period of time, and she had 70 copyrighted songs by summer of 97. A lot of these songs were about the lives of the saints and the Mother of God and stories from the Bible and our tradition of folk music in America. That was part of what she shared every day, with the children. And has continued to make visits there, during her life on different times during the summers. And some of the kids have learned to sing her songs and play her songs and perform her songs, and they performed at various parishes for various occasions. She always insisted I introduce her songs. I always would introduce her. It was always my pleasure to do so. She really hated to talk about her songs. She never wanted to say anything. She always expected me to introduce her and say something about the songs. She just wanted to sing them. She was very bashful for a performer. She didn't seek to be the center of attention or make money out of it or be well known. She didn't perform very much. She mostly performed in her own house in front of the microphone to record beautiful music and to communicate communicate with the Mother of God and the saints and our Savior. And the Archbishop said to me when he was visiting here for our feast day in July that every time someone plays one of her songs, it counts to her crown in heaven.
I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who worked so hard to make this year another successful year. We care very much for you all, and this is a very important time for us as well because we are observing you being nurtured by our Lord. Although you had a lot of fun this week, I want you to take the message of your salvation very seriously because as you were all coming up today to receive the blessing, when you kiss the cross, I was thinking, and I was also praying, I was thinking about the fact that you had a good week here and that many of you heard a lot of edifying things, but now you're leaving. You're here for this week, sort of like an Orthodox village, praying together, meeting new friends, going to the services, learning a lot of things. Now you're leaving. You're going back to the world. We really have to take the matter of our salvation seriously. We want you to know that we care for you and we love you, and we pray that these seeds that have been planted in your hearts this week, hold on to them, please. And may our Lord protect you all, and may God help us to preserve our Holy Orthodox faith. God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you.
My wife made a lot of sacrifices. It was just planning the thing every year, what creative thing we were going to do. My wife and I met at a church camp. We knew that church camps were important in our development and in our having found each other. We recognized that this was sorely needed. One young man said to me, John Farnsworth, he said, I think differently when I'm at this camp. I think differently. And you have just a whole different outlook, a different way of looking at the world.
The disciples came unto Jesus, saying, Who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And Jesus called a little child unto him, and set him in the midst of them, and said, Verily I say unto you, except ye be converted, and become as little children, ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven. The disciples came unto Jesus, saying,
Maybe each one of you could just share with our viewers, if you like, what your faith means to you, if that would be okay. I mean, or maybe you've expressed it so beautifully through your music. Maybe you could just share with our viewers. Where do you want to start, or?
See, ladies first.
This was a question I didn't know I'd go over it in the beginning.
My faith means everything to me, and that's why I
put it in music.